Thank you, Wayne. Congratulations on the win. What about that turnaround in fortunes from last year to this? How has it been achieved?
Well, firstly, it feels great. The players obviously are feeling very, very good with the performance that they put in. We talked about it being a special day, and for a lot of reasons, George's 100th. Some silverware on the line, and the option the opportunity then to go deeper into the competition and push on. So it was a special day. The weather was good, and we went out there and a bonus point win. You've got to be proud of the performance.
Do you think English supporters have any reason to contest either of the first two tries?
Well, I thought firstly from a Welsh point of view, the crossfield kick was a pinpoint, good skill. Judgey did his job by hanging out there to give us the option, and I thought it was well taken once the referee said time on. So look, if it was against us, we'd be having a look at ourselves and why we didn't react quicker.
You made some fairly early substitutions, and they seem to pay off.
Yeah, we sort of had a plan in the midfield where Willis was going to come on somewhere between the sort of 40 and 50 minute mark, 45, 50 minute mark. Jonathan, it was his first game for a while, and he was pretty solid, we thought, and it was time to bring Willis in to see if we could change things up a little bit. But I thought all the substitutions that came on did a fairly good job, obviously, in a pressure situation for most of them when they came on.
Quite a surreal atmosphere to collect the Triple Crown, though, at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, the players were joking about doing a lap for the supporters, but I'm sure there were everybody in their homes and wherever they were watching the game would be celebrating that one.
And you march on Rome now. They've obviously, Italy have been well beaten at home by Ireland. A lot of people will be looking ahead already to a possible Grand Slam effort against France.
Yeah, we've spoken briefly already about the importance of the next game, and we'd do a lot of very good work if we didn't focus on that game and that game alone, and make sure that we go out there and put in another solid performance and hopefully get the points there, in which case then, the last weekend takes care of itself.
Thank you, Wayne. Good luck.
Thank you.
Wayne, it looked like England were trying to get into Dan Biggar quite early on in the match. A few hits that were perhaps borderline late. What do you make of the way he dealt with that and rode that challenge and tried to stick to his game?
Oh, look, it pretty much happens every time we play England. The players know each other very, very well. Dan obviously plays in their competition. A 10 in any team is obviously one of your players that have to marshal the troops and implement a game plan. And Dan in the past, I suppose, they try to get under his skin a little bit, but look, he's been around long enough to deal with that, and I thought he dealt with it well.
What do you make of Callum Sheedy? I mean, he's come on at big moments in the game in the last two outings for you, and he kicked those 3 penalties after England drew level. It really gave you some breathing space. Oh,
look, I thought he was fantastic. After missing a couple out in Edinburgh, to come on in that situation, as you say, a very tight game at that stage, and they weren't easy kicks, and all 3 of them he hit very, very well. And I'm just pleased for him, and I thought his general play was solid as well. So as I said earlier, I think all the boys coming on added something to the game.
And just finally from me, how has George North been this week? What have you made of the way that he's managed what was a really big occasion for him personally?
Look, I think he's handled himself as we knew George would. He's taken it in his stride. He's been very humble. We had a little video for him last night in the team room, and that was very touching, from family and other greats of the game, passing on their congratulations. And I thought, again, George in the number 13 jersey put in a really good display, and he's feeling comfortable in that position. So I think we have a couple of options for him going forward.
Cheers, Wayne.
Thank you.
Hi Wayne, Will here, how's it going?
Good, thank you, Will.
Talk us through your reactions at full time. You looked unbelievably pleased.
Yeah, we were pretty pumped up when I think Callum kicked his 3rd penalty and it took us out 2 scores. And then to get the bonus point at the end, obviously very, very happy. And happy for the players because they've put in so much work. They've worked very, very hard, and we get to see what's going on behind the scenes and in terms of the camaraderie within the group. And I think that's shown for everybody watching that, it would have been, a lot of people may have thought that, 24 all England were coming strong at us. But our guys found another gear again, and we're very pleased for that and pleased for the results so that we can keep building on that performance.
Wales in years gone by have sort of made a thing of sticking in games and then coming out on the right side of them, especially in the Six Nations. Can you talk about the sort of character of your senior players who, year after year, seem to be able to deliver in these massive test matches?
We talk a lot about Alun Wyn, and everything that is said is very accurate, and he's been there and done it that many times, and I think 22 times against England. So, guys like that have messages to give during the week. The young guys are hanging off every word. He's one of many senior players that we've got in the group that are really stepping up and, behind the scenes as well, obviously in the training sessions and team meetings. So I'm very, very pleased that those guys, in particular senior players, Justin Tipuric, Toby Faletau, Dan Bigger, Jonathan Davies, George North, those sorts of players, want to take on that role and share their experiences with the young guys, which is vitally important for us going forward.
I appreciate there's lots of COVID restrictions and everything, but do you allow, with a week after this off, the guys to celebrate properly back at the hotel and mark a key victory in this campaign? No, we won't be celebrating the old-fashioned way, unfortunately, because I think that's a great part of our sport where you work so hard, and it's a brutal contest these days. The collisions are so big, and to then go and be able to sit down and just have a cold beer or a glass of wine with your mates is it's important. But certainly they'll have a couple now, but then it'll be disbanding with them a couple of days off, and they'll head home. But they're back in again next week, ready to do some more hard work. Just lastly, how do you keep a lid on the sort of expectations, and the nation's going to kind of go into the overdrive with more to come? I mean, how are you going to keep a lid on all that expectation?
Well, I think because we haven't played the house down over 80 minutes yet, I think everybody can see that we're building and improving. But we've well and truly got our feet on the ground, and the players have talked about that already in the changing room around. The next game is the most important game, obviously, because it would undo all this good work. So, look, we'll be working really, really hard, and we'll be looking at the Italians and doing our normal reviewing and of our performance, then previewing them. And we're going to make sure we put out a side that can not only get a result, but get a good performance, which is ultimately what we're after.
Wayne, I know it's not about you, but how do you feel personally in terms of relief, satisfaction? It was a difficult autumn, wasn't it? Some fans were calling for you to go. I mean, how satisfying is this? How good a feeling is this to have won 3 out of 3 and beaten England?
Obviously, it's very satisfying, but we have to stay focused on our jobs and what we're doing, and we chose to, and well documented, chose to go down a bit of a development route and build some depth in certain positions in the autumn. It was a free hit, really, from our point of view, and so long as our board's across what we're doing, and the public will get on board once we start getting results. We know that. And for me personally, I honestly, it's about the players, and it's about us providing an environment where they can come in and get the job done, really, and keep improving. And hopefully we're doing that, and hopefully everybody's seeing that the hard work is starting to pay off. But there's still 2 big games to go.
And on Sheedy, did he come on as a tactical decision?
Well, I think everybody got a lot of confidence, including the player, out of what happened in Murrayfield. So it was really a wait and see how things progressed in this particular game. Dan took a couple of knocks, and he clearly wasn't 100. So when he took his last knock, which was on the forearm, he took one on the hip as well. So he wasn't moving that freely, so it was time to bring him off.
He's putting his hand up for a start, isn't he?
Look, he's doing everything that we're asking of him, and he's enjoying being in the environment, and he did say, listen, I can play 15, wing, 13, whatever. So, look, he's just a young guy that's really enjoying the environment. He's expressing himself, and he's doing very, very well. So, yeah, certainly, along with a lot of other players, and that's what we want. We want competition for positions, and we want to have a selection headache every week, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wayne, given the number of penalties that were conceded and the Maritoje gave away 5, were you expecting a yellow card at any point?
Yes, and probably before half time on the 4th one, but at the end of the day, the referees probably didn't think they were all in the same area maybe. But look, that is a lot of penalties for one player, and he's pushing the boundaries clearly, but he's a world-class player. Sometimes world-class players get away with a little bit more than others.
It's another game out of the 3 we've played, so obviously pleased. It was an intense, tight battle out there, but I'm pleased with the character we showed again, and I think the subs again, as they did in the Scottish game, were really good when they came on. Particularly, it's been I'm not going to lie, it's been a strange competition. I think all the teams have felt that without the fans. We got to grips. Without having fans in the Nations Cup, but to be in the Six Nations without it is bizarre, and it's just obviously there's a lot of things going on at the minute, but hopefully we can we've showed a bit of pride in the nation and what they're going through at the minute, and the support we're definitely feeling. We saw the odd flag being waved on the way into the stadium, which was much appreciated, and we're just happy to be able to give something back to the fans at this stage. Very much so. I think, but I was asked a similar question after the game. The more I think about it, it's tough because, there's the officials out there, and obviously they communicate with both refs, and I think it's probably more a question for them. But ultimately we just play the game, so it's a tough one to be on this side of the fence and answer, if I'm honest. I don't know about that. I think you look at the first half and compare it with the second half. I think they were in the ascendancy at the tail end of that first half. We gave away a few soft penalties, and they were on a roll going into the half, and they probably continued in the same vein in that second half. If we're honest, I think we were lucky. We had a conversation in the week about what we do in game, and we were able to stick to the plan, and we knew it was going to be a big kicking battle, and we had to stay in the arm wrestle, as it were. We were able to do that. There's no talk of anything like that, to be honest. We didn't really talk a lot about Triple Crown this week. And we came into this competition off a really disappointing Nations Cup, although the strength and depth and the people that had opportunity. And I apologise for saying the same answer I gave you the other day, but we came in this to off probably a bad run of form, and we're just going out one game at a time. We've got a fallow week now, and Italy historically get better through the competition. They'll obviously be hurting from a couple of appearances they've had, so that's our next focus. That's the external stuff. I think there's a lot of critique that was probably a lot harsher at times from within. We hear the external stuff, but the internal stuff and the missed opportunity, that's probably more frustrating a lot of the time. And that's been a big driver. We're not going to shy away from, we've had a bit of luck, and we've created some of our, we'd like to think the majority of our own luck as well. But ultimately we just play the game, and that critique, like I say, in-house has to be the driver, because if we start looking outside the tent, we probably lose focus. So I'm proud of the team that's, we on the squad that we've had to be able to do that. And hopefully we can continue to do that. Baptism of fire in the autumn, and to see these guys get opportunity on, what it does go up a notch. We're not going to shy away from that when you come into a Six Nations. We all know that. I think the composure that they have has been welcome. And to have the likes of John Davis, Ken back in the midst, and those senior roles as well is it's great for the squad. And we've got a lot of younger guys that are putting their hands up and talking really through their actions. So it's a good place. But like I say, we need to keep improving on the pitch and those sort of roles on the training pitch as well. It's going back to Gareth's question about fans and stuff. It's always a great occasion, and despite what people think of me and the fixture, you've got utmost respect for fellow professionals, and what they're trying to achieve is the same as us. It would have just been extra special if the fans could have been here today, but it's always a special occasion for myself. It's a fine line, isn't it? Because if I think there was a lot left in the game. If you remonstrate too much, you get on the bad side of the ref. It's tough as an opposition. I was questioned whether I'm supposed to intervene. I'm like, I always get enough stick for speaking to refs as it is. I'm not going to, do it on opposition. So it's a fine line to tread. It's probably I think Faz asked the question, and probably rightly so. But I think there are a few occasions I tried speaking to the ref on our stuff, and he didn't want me to. So I'm not probably even going to get a word in on that sort of stuff. So it is a fine line to tread, and I can understand people's frustrations with it. But there's 5 guys out there that are equipped to make those decisions. I think, like I said, I think going into the half, I think England had the momentum, in the game, and there was an ebb and flow of that. And when it went so tight in that early second half, it could have gone probably either way. So sticking to plan and sticking to task is the thing, and then the momentum shifts. You're talking a percentage either way, which in this game is a big difference. We're pleased with the results, but anything after that is going to be muted. We go into a fallow week, so sometimes when you win a game, you would like another one straight after to keep, like you say, momentum going. So we're faced with the challenge of a fallow week, and then obviously a big game against Italy, as the previous 3 games have been. But we definitely won't rely on that momentum. It's about what we do, not what we've done. A tough autumn, and that critique from within has been pretty harsh at times, and it's paying dividends now with the strength and depth we'd like to think we have in the squad. So we just need to keep staying on top of that and not to look too far ahead, like I say. Well, I think as I said earlier, I think the likes of again, Foxy, George coming back to the side, Josh Adams as well, and Corey obviously picked up an early one in the campaign. To have all those guys back is special. But I think the funny thing was he's had another try against England, and it's just nice to have that seamless transition when you've got guys coming off the bench, like I said earlier, and for Corey to come on and keep the momentum going in the set piece, and then obviously cross is special for him, and it sends a flare up and makes it more competition in the second row, which is good for all of us.